We're back. It's the DC Brothers. I'm Brandon.
I'm Brian. We want to put the message out there again for you guys to follow us on Twitter. That's at HOU Basebald. Go and like us on Facebook. That's just Basebald. And follow us or subscribe to our page on YouTube. That's HOU Basebald space DC. If you can do that for us, that helps us out. That'll help spread the word a little bit about what we're talking about here. We're just trying to talk as much baseball as possible in the Houston area. Try to get people excited about baseball again because it's been a little while in this town.
We got a lot of momentum going right now, and we want to just keep that going. So please go ahead and share this video with your friends on Facebook, and keep the word going, spread the word. But we're going to jump right into the AL East this time.
Yeah, finish up on the American League.
Yeah, this one was tough. We're trying to tell people who's where, because there's been so much turnover this offseason. We want to kind of remind people before spring training gets going who's where, what the teams are looking like, and who's competing for spots.
Who's going to be good and who's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of tricky.
And this, speaking of tricky, this was a tricky division to handle.
Yeah, I think they have this similar strengths. All the teams that are at least competitive in this division, and I think it's kind of odd that they're all kind of constructed the same way.
Yeah, the top four I think are going to be battling all year. They look on paper to be like we just said, really similar. I don't know, you want to talk about the Yankees first, the big dogs?
The big dogs, sure. I'll jump in and talk about the Yankees. I'm looking over their team. Some of the notes I have on them is that they're too old and too young. So they've got kind of a mix of, Teixeira's still playing first base. A-Rod and Chase Headley will be platooning at third base. Beltran out, Beltran's still good, and Garner and Ellsbury. That's not a bad outfield.
No, I like the outfield. I was surprised what I was gonna find by the Yankees. I kind of like their positional players. They are old. Yes, old.
Stephen Drew playing second base.
Stephen Drew, but I think that's just buying a little bit of time for Ref Snyder to get him a little more at bats down there. Stephen Drew brings you the up the middle defense. He hasn't shown that he couldn't show that he hit last year, but he was stripped of having normal spring training and first couple months. So I wouldn't say he's completely done.
Yeah, but he's not exciting to me. I don't think he's going to be a difference maker on this team or some kind of a spark for them. And with Didi Gregorius, who I like, but
again, defense,
and there's going to be a lot of pressure on that kid.
Yeah.
And then McCann behind the plate. They've got an all right offense. It's not bad. I think they'll score runs, and their pitching it could be interesting because you don't know what's going to happen with Tanaka coming off that arm surgery.
Right.
Is he going to be right? Is he going to be the same Tanaka that he was? Just blowing everybody away last year. But after that, you have CC Sabathia.
Who's going to give you innings? I mean, who can you count on, really? Tanaka's arm could fall off after 5 starts.
Pineda,
who knows? Sabathia, is he going to come back healthy?
Yeah, I wouldn't count on all that. So
Ivan Nova's out until at least May from the Tommy John.
Yeah. So I just don't think that they lost Robertson at the end of their bullpen.
They did pick up Andrew Miller. I think that's their strength.
Their bullpen
is their bullpen. Man, having Andrew Miller and Betances at the end, you got righty-lefty combo, probably the best in baseball, coming at you hard. The 8th and 9th, I think, are done. You're not going to touch the Yankees after the 7th inning.
Yeah, but it's about building up some innings before then. Are they going to be pitching into the 6th inning?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have the strong bullpen, which I believe they have.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you even get? I mean, how are you going to pencil these guys in? Sabathia, Tanaka, Pineda for 30 starts. You can't pencil those guys in.
No.
But the interesting thing, and they did pick up Nathan Eovaldi. They got him in the Martin Prado trade. And I think he'll be all right. I think he's going to be a good, strong arm that you can actually count on for some innings this year. the quality of innings. He's still a young guy learning, and it's a tough division.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Yankees that I noticed, I mentioned Ref Snyder earlier to come up second base. I think Stephen Drew buys him at least a year, maybe half a year. They've got Greg Bird down. The Yankees, I was surprised at the prospects they have. Because you think of the Yankees trading away all their prospects. Greg Bird just won the Arizona Fall League MVP. He's a first baseman. I don't think we're going to see him this year, unless A-Rod is just complete disaster. And they have Garrett Jones there too to hit DH.
Yeah, that's true.
But some of the pitchers, Severino and Lindgren is a guy they could bring up to help in the bullpen. They got a lot of high-end guys that are already close to the majors, so this team buys them some time. So I think right now you're looking at strong bullpen and the defense. Teixeira, we don't know what he's going to bring with the bat. You know what he's got with the glove.
Right.
Headley, same thing. And then up the middle, Drew and Gregorius. You don't know what any of those four are going to do with the bat, but their glove is going to be strong. So defense. And bullpen.
So intriguing. It should be, and they'll score some runs.
Yeah.
Score some runs.
Yeah. Now let's go move on to the Blue Jays, which I think did a lot in the offseason without doing too much, but did filled in what they needed. They made the big trade with Oakland to get Josh Donaldson. Love that guy, MVP type guy, and man, moving from the Coliseum to the Rogers Center.
Yeah.
Man, I just think he's going to have a huge year. And no pressure. He was the man in Oakland. He is the fourth guy in this lineup.
Right.
They also signed Russell Martin, who is, he changed the culture for the Yankees and then the Pirates. This is a pro who can handle a pitching staff, gets on base, plays great defense at catcher. And so you got Donaldson.
They wanted him bad, and they got him.
You still got Jose Reyes, playing good shortstop.
He played well last year. Stay healthy.
They picked up Justin Smoke to play first base.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll play. You count on him for a little bit of defense. You might stick Encarnacion still there at first base some. We'll see how which one plays the better defense. But I gotta love what they did. Michael Saunders they picked up also. Dalton Pompey is going to be a strong rookie of the year candidate in center field. Brings you a lot of on base, a lot of steals, and some good defense. You got Jose Bautista, Joey Bats, who we love.
Yeah.
And then the pitching staff is not spectacular. Not a big. They're lacking that ace.
Lacking the ace.
It's kind of like
solid.
Yeah. You were saying something earlier before we started about this division. Tanaka, but beyond that, you don't even know if he can make it 5 starts this year.
Right.
Who's the ace in this?
Are there any aces?
Yeah.
In the AL East, and I don't know.
I think if there is a chance for someone to be an ace, it might be Stroman for the Blue Jays. But they got R.A. Dickey, Mark Burley, Hutchinson. They got Marco Estrada from the Brewers who can fill in. Maybe at the back end of that starting rotation, or be a long guy in the bullpen. The guy that's driving all over the country in his Volkswagen van, Daniel Norris.
Yeah, Daniel Norris.
He's going to be there competing. I don't know if he breaks camp with the club, but he gives them a little bit of depth. But beyond that, I think they're counting on Aaron Sanchez to maybe compete as the closer and fortify the back end of the bullpen at this point with Brett Cecil. And so I just don't see too many weaknesses. Maybe a little bit of depth in the starting pitching and a little bit of depth in the bullpen. Those are things you can probably fix in the middle of the year once you see what you have. But
yeah, as long as they're competitive enough to make
positional.
They spent the money.
Yeah, I think this team looks solid, and I'm excited about the Blue Jays this year. How about the Orioles?
Orioles, I think are going to backslide a little bit this year from what they did last year. In my opinion, they have to lean on guys like Chris Davis and Manny Machado and Matt Wieters. I don't know. I don't buy their offense that much. I don't know. I have a problem with them.
Well, they lost a lot of offense. Nelson Cruz being gone.
That was big.
Markakis.
Wherever he goes, they just win.
Markakis and Cruz are gone.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they're solid. They're similarly constructed to the other AL East teams. You know, with the big offenses or good offenses, and then that kind of middle of the road pitching staff. You know, where you've got guys like Tillman and Chen, and Bud Norris and Gosman. I like them, but they're not. No, there's no ace. There's no ace there, but they're deep, I guess, in the rotation.
But they have, again, like we were talking about Stroman maybe possibly becoming an ace. They've got some guys this year that are going to be given the chance, and I think they can be an ace, especially those second half.
Yeah.
With Dylan Bundy and Hunter Harvey being on the verge. Gossman, I think, is just hitting his peak, and he's going to be a solid number 2 guy. And Tillman is a solid starter.
Yeah, I like him. I just keep I keep looking over the offense, and I just don't know what to think of it. I don't know about the health of Machado and Chris Davis, and you know what is Chris Davis ever going to really give them again? I'm not really sure of. You know, Wieters coming off his injury.
I don't even know if he'll be ready for the beginning of the season.
Doesn't sound like it. He's kind of their leader, so if he's not available, I think that dings them to start off the season a little bit. And you know, it's a tough division. It'll be competitive for sure. But they've got Adam Jones, and he's a stud, and we know what he can do. He's another leader in the clubhouse. You just wonder if you have to lean too much on him or you know some of these other guys that are not reliable.
Not much else out there in the outfield.
Yeah, outfield.
Diaza and Travis Snyder, and they re-signed Pierce, but is he an outfielder or is he just a DH? I guess he's going to get some time out in outfield. They have Delman Young, DH, mostly probably.
Yeah.
Not really an outfielder at this point in his career. J.J. Hardy and Scope up the middle. I mean, yeah, I think like you were high on Prince Fielder bouncing back. I'm pretty high on Chris Davis bouncing back. He was given his prescription this time and allowed to have his medicine. Yes, but he will be still suspended for Game 1. That's his last day of the suspension.
What a bummer. That's a fun day.
Yeah, it is a fun day. So he will be suspended for that, but he'll be back after that. The bullpen with Britton at the end. Nobody, they lost Andrew Miller. Nobody really scares you down there at the bullpen. Not even really Britton. I mean, he had a great save rate last year and did a good job closing down games, but not really the power arm that you'd like to see in that position.
Right.
And not too much besides the 2 pitchers I mentioned coming up that are major league ready, with the exception of Christian Walker.
Christian Walker could be that bad. We were talking about that before the show.
Either DH or first base.
Coming up providing some solid power.
Yeah, I like the guy. I like the kid. It looks like maybe a 20 to 25 home run kind of guy with some good contact skills, and so hopefully he'll be another guy to help out Chris Davis in the middle of that lineup. And we'll just see how Wieters and Machado bounce back. I guess that's what they're counting on.
Yeah.
Buck Showalter does a great job.
I do love Buck.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
So that's where we stand on the Orioles.
Yeah. How about the Red Sox?
Man, the Red Sox were moving and shaking in the off season.
Spent a little bit of money.
Spent a little bit of money. They got Pablo Sandoval to play third base. They picked up Hanley Ramirez as a free agent, and they're going to stick him out there in front of the monster.
Left field, right.
I mean, hey, they figure if Manny Ramirez can play left field there, Hanley can.
Shortstop can play out there, sure.
Yeah, and man, their outfield is stacked, and I think that's going to be a key to their season. I think they're going to use someone there, maybe not in spring training, but they're going to see who they can use and who's going to pan out for them, and then use some of the rest to upgrade the pitching staff, because they got Hanley Ramirez, Rusney Castillo is the center field speed guy from Cuba. They got Mookie Betts is probably going to start out there. They still have Shane Victorino, Alan Craig, Daniel Nava, Brock Holt, and the list goes. Jackie Bradley. The list goes on. So they're stacked in the outfield of major league guys. I think a couple of those will be moved, but they're in no hurry to do that. They can probably wait and see. And I think by the end of the year, one of these teams, I think Cole Hamels is going to play a part in this division. I don't know if it's going to be Toronto or Boston or Baltimore or the Yankees that steps out and gets him. But I think Cole Hamels will play a part in who wins this division, but it might not be until the trade deadline. You still got Pedroia, Xander Bogaerts up the middle. We talked about Sandoval playing third. And Napoli is back this year, healthy, playing first. And then Big Papi, DH, solidifies that lineup. Then they went out and got a ton of pitchers. No real true ace, but they've got Buchholz still there. They went and got Porcello, Wade Miley from the Diamondbacks, Justin Masterson, Joe Kelly. So they go really deep. A lot of arms, a lot of number threes.
Yeah.
But no true ace, like we've been talking about. It's kind of the theme of this division. A lot of depth, but no true aces anywhere. So we'll see. And they have Henry Owens, who might be able to help out a little bit if they don't go get that guy. They've got Swihart, who they really like at catcher, but Christian Vasquez is there right now.
But there's depth.
There is depth everywhere, and except the bullpen, I'm not very high on. I like Uehara, and they've got Mujica and Tazawa and Breslow. But does any of those names really say lockdown bullpen to you?
No, but they could maybe convert some of those other arms they picked up into some kind of relief role.
Yeah.
It's possible, at least. I mean,
They still have high-end prospects that don't seem to have a place in this division. You see Devin Marrero and Gavin Cicchini. Now with Sandoval being there, these are two high prospects with all that outfield. You said Jackie Bradley Jr. that can be flipped for a Cole Hamels. So I think
we're helping their bullpen.
Yeah, I think that's where we go. The last team we have to talk about are the Rays, and there's really not much to talk about there.
No, unfortunately, it's a small market team that kind of went back to their small market ways and kind of unloaded a few guys.
Biggest losses, Andrew Friedman and Joe Madden, both gone. The general manager and the manager, both gone. The outfield is Desmond Jennings, and they did make a big trade, traded Will Myers out of there, got Steven Souza in. I think they're probably comparable. I think they're about the same type player. I think Souza, at this point, might have a little bit more upside, more speed. Also plays now in the more favorable park. So I would give the slight lean to Souza putting up the better numbers. Evan Longoria is still there. Hopefully he has a bounce back. I'm not sure what happened to that guy last year.
Yeah.
Asdrubal Cabrera they brought in to play shortstop. Not really a shortstop anymore defensively.
First base is James Loney.
Yeah, James Loney at first base.
That tells you everything right there. When he's playing first base for you.
You're kind of struggling to find a DH, maybe John Jaso. They brought Rene Rivera as catching, who's solid major league guy they got from the Padres in that Will Myers trade. You got Tim Beckham and who was the number 1 draft pick, Nick Franklin, who they got from the Mariners. Those guys can play up the middle. Logan Forsythe. They've got a Hawk Julie, who we'll see if he ever turns into anything. I think he's going to be given a chance at least. But there's just not much prospect-wise. There's not much offense on the major league level besides those guys. And but really, the strength of this team is the pitching staff.
Definitely.
They might have the best rotation in that division. And we've already talked about how strong these guys are, pitching-wise, depth-wise, throughout the division. This is Alex Cobb, Chris Archer, Odorizzi, Drew Smiley, who they picked up for David Price last year. Matt Moore comes back. He's already throwing, but he probably hold him back until maybe
They'll take
June.
their time with him. With this roster, no need to rush him back. So
Alex Colomé is out of options, so he'll probably end up on this team somewhere. Maybe that 5th starter while Matt Moore's coming back, and we'll see how he does. The bullpen, we'll see if Jake McGee was their closer. He might have some arm issues right now. So Boxberger and Grant Balfour's still there.
Cishek is out there.
No,
no, I'm sorry. That's
the other Florida team.
Other Florida team.
So the Rays, I just
Yeah.
great pitching staff. You get excited when you see that, and then not much else there. Not much support with the bats. They're gonna be. It's gonna be hard for them to score some runs.
Yeah, in this division, they're not gonna go very far.
So let's go ahead and get to our picks.
We've got them. I think we both got them in the cellar for this year.
That was an easy one. I think they're the seller, and I don't see the Rays making much noise this year, especially with these other four. Yeah.
So who you got coming in fourth then?
Fourth, this is tough because the 1 through 4 are really similar, really good teams, really well put together. You had to put somebody there. I put Baltimore as 4. I just see them taking a step back, losing Markakis and Nelson Cruz. You don't know about Machado and Chris Davis, how they're going to be. Weeders, you don't know if they're going to be there. And their pitching staff, I put just a little bit further down, so I got Baltimore 4.
I agree with you. I don't have the confidence in them in either their offense. I mean, they'll have a good offense, but considering the rest of the teams in this division, nothing special. And then the pitching is just not there, so I've got them in 4th as well. For 3rd place for me, I have the Yankees.
I do too. I'm wow.
Look at this.
Yeah. I put the Yankees at 3 just because I like the defense. I like the bullpen better.
So many questions on the pitching stuff. I mean, everything hinges on Tanaka and CC for them. How healthy can they be? Is CC ever going to be healthy? Going to be, good enough?
Yeah, and I think they'll be strong enough to. And they're the Yankees. So I think that they always go out and get that guy. As far as the Orioles, you've seen they've not been willing to go get that guy. So that's why I think I put the Yankees just slightly ahead of the Orioles.
Will they be competitive enough, long enough, to go and get that guy this year, or are they just going to wait till the offseason next year?
That'll be the question. I think everybody expects the Yankees to go get some of those big free agents in the offseason, but we'll see what they do here. Will they be competitive enough? I think they're going to make themselves because they spent so much money on Ellsbury, Beltran, McCann.
Yeah.
We'll see.
A-Rod.
Yeah, A-Rod. We'll see how
That's
that's
money there. Well, and then in the 2 spot?
2 spot, man, this was tough for me. This is tough
I
for
don't know
me.
if we have the same picks here, but I've got Toronto finishing 2nd.
All right, I flipped it.
Okay.
I flipped it.
I thought you would have. It sounded that way.
Yeah.
I know you're high on Toronto. I'm not high on Boston's starting pitching necessarily, but you said, as we said, great depth, and their offense is loaded. There's depth everywhere on the field for them in their rotation, everything like that. I like what Boston can do. I think they're going to win this division. They're constructed like everybody else, but they're just better. And I think they're going to win.
Well, I disagree with you.
Blasphemy.
I got Toronto winning the division. I think Boston makes the playoffs. And like I said earlier, I think Boston does go get that guy sometime in the middle of the year. I think it's good. I think it's going to end up being Cole Hamels at some point, and solidifying that rotation with some of those guys we talked about, those high-end prospects who really don't seem like they have a place anymore. No openings, and they've been in AAA for a while. So I think they go get that guy, and then if that's the case, they're going to be strong in the playoffs. They can hit. They're going to score a lot of runs. So can the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays can hit. I think Aaron Sanchez and Brett Cecil at the end of that bullpen solidify it. I think they do have that starting pitching depth, and they're going to score some runs. It's going to be a fun division with Boston and Toronto all year. Yankees and Baltimore are strong, and so I'm excited. I'm an AL East fan. I like all those teams. I'm a big Red Sox fan, but I am going with the Blue Jays this year to win, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah,
that was good.
We'll see what happens. I mean, it's unpredictable, obviously. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens during the course of the year. But we got the characters to make for a good show in the AL East.
All right, for my brother Brian, I'm Brandon. Go Stros.
Go Stros.
We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew 'em all from Boston.